Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas, and today we'll be playing our fourth episode of the game of Nordic mystery, Vaesen. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to our subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, always helps. Also, if you would like to become a member like Pio, you can become a member and support us and allow us to get new things. And beyond that, if you have any comments or you'd like to put anything in, we can have a chat. All good, let's do that. But for now, let's get on with our fourth episode of Vaesen. I should be back by now, but this is recorded before I went away. So, where were we at? Our two investigators of the society, Samuel and Eric, both have the sight and are members of the society. Samuel being an ex-police officer and now turned private investigator, and Eric being a priest of the Man of the Cloth. We have gone to a village with a windmill in the middle of it. Vindkullen is the name of the village, because a person called Ephraim had requested our aid. Some wild livestock had been being slaughtered in the area, and this had been affecting the local farmhands and farmers, who had been receiving less money, thus spending less money at the tavern, causing Ephraim to be panicked and quite scared about his future. He called in the society to investigate. We have asked around the town. We encountered somebody and there was a missing jewelry box. I don't think we found out. Oh yes, we did. The jewelry box came from the farmhouse. No other things have been going missing around the town. So we had a few other clues that came up. We had a clue about a sack on the property of the farmhouse, which was who were the family? Backmark. The family were Backmark. It's the Backmark farm. There was a sack which had been torn apart by some kind of animal on the property. No other things had been stolen. People had said that the Backmark family were good people and good neighbours. We had Farmer Backmark had received a letter from an aristocrat in Uppsala. Something about a spell, or someone had found something and asking to buy it from them. We then spoke to Mrs. Backmark. Mrs. Backmark seemed to, and in the front room, seemed to have some form of knowledge about what was going on. So not only did she know that something was going on, there was a few things that we discovered when speaking to her in the front parlour of their farmhouse. We found that there was a firearm that seemed to be hidden in the room. We also saw that there was a fire had been burning in the corner of the room and had seemed to have been put out. There were some pictures of a child on the mantelpiece, but there was no child in the area, so we wanted to check whether something had happened there. And also, I believe, based on my notes, that Mrs. Backmark had been suffering from nightmares. Now, a lot of this stuff leans towards a certain Vaesen, that Vaesen being a myling. Now, if it is a myling, we need to check a few things. Now, first off, a myling wouldn't be slaughtering animals. That doesn't suggest a myling. So the slaughtering animals and the torn up sack might just be a normal wolf. Now, if that is that, then what we need to do is we need to have a look at the area, maybe do some tracking, but I don't know if either of us are trackers, so we might need to employ a hunter or tracker to scout the area and see if there's a wolf in the area. And we also need to investigate the bodies and see how the bodies were attacked, and see if it was in a standard pattern that a wolf attack would have done to have killed livestock. That would then remove the fact of the livestock being killed as being an actual clue. We also can check and see if there is anything to do with a loss of a child from the family. I'm sorry if this is a trigger thing for anyone, I do apologise. As there were pictures of the child, because that suggests with the myling and something in the past. Then we might have to return back to Uppsala to use Samuel's book collection and maybe the library at the castle to find, or one of them, or Eric or Samuel could go back and do that whilst the other one's doing stuff here. Actually, we might do that to see how we would then remove a myling from an area if we needed to. Any other clues that we've got? I can't remember. Oh yeah, the burgling, the stealing of goods, so stealing of things from the farmhouse. We find out other things from the farmhouse have been stolen, also suggests a myling. And I think that is it. I think really we're leaning towards having a myling. So I think to start off with in this episode, we might have, we'll see if there's a hunter. There should probably be a hunter in the area. We'll try and engage a hunter's services and see if we can get a hunter to go and investigate the area and come back and tell us what could have been causing the animals. We will then do an investigation of the bodies of the livestock and see what may have done that, and that torn up sack. So we'll return to the farmhouse and investigate that. And someone, probably Eric with his horse and cart, will return back. Now we want to find out what checking on a library is, an investigation thing for that, which will be logic based probably learning. And Eric is the best at learning, so good. So Eric might return back and check out the book collections and see if he can gather anything to do with myling and how we would then remove a myling. Because although Samuel encountered a myling before, we don't know if Samuel knows how to remove a myling and would have investigated that aspect. So we need to pursue those two bits. So first off, we will say that the next day we will have, let's say, so before Eric is going to set off, and Eric is going to head back to the castle to do some investigating and to go through the book collections and see if he can find any information out about myling. Whilst he's doing, before he does that, he's going to engage the services of a hunter to investigate the area and see if he can find any tracks of a wolf. Whilst he's doing that, Samuel is going to return back to the farmhouse and he's going to ask to see the sack and see the animals and do some medical investigations and see how they may have died. So, services of a hunter. We've got in here a doctor, personal doctor or surgeon. I think they're equivalent of, I think I'm going to make them equivalent of a post rider, which is an availability of 3. So what we might do it as, I don't know if this is how it's meant to be done, is you do manipulation. So we'll have Eric, you roll a manipulation roll with a bonus based on his resources, because he obviously looks rich and he can promise a lot of stuff to somebody in the tavern. So his resources is an 8, which gives him a bonus of 5 because he comes across as being filthy rich. He has a manipulation of 2 and an empathy of 4. And so it says it's an availability of 3. So I guess that means we need 3 successes. That's a lot of dice though. 1, 2, 3. So we get 3 successes. So Eric is able to engage the services of a 33 Gustan Massing. So a hunter, Gustan Massing, is going to spend the day searching around and seeing if he can find any evidence of a wolf or pack of wolves or wolves in the area. We will give him a hunter. We will give him so he has investigation of 2. An investigation is a logic skill. So an investigation of 2, which will give +3 of 5, which gives him 2 + 3, which means he's got a 5 to roll. And we'll say, because he's got knowledge of the area, it will give him a +2. So we'll say he can have 7 dice to see if he can find information out during the day. And then Eric is going to ride back to Uppsala with intentions of investigating. He probably won't return until tomorrow morning. So we'll have Eric out for the rest of the day, riding to Uppsala, then checking the books, and then he'll rest and then come back with his information about the myling technically tomorrow in the game. So for the rest of this day, we will have Samuel is going to return to the Backmark family home. Well, first, actually, I think first Samuel will go to the local church and ask to speak to someone to get access to the record. So we're going to do a manipulation roll. He's going to go and speak. Oh, it's a shame Eric wasn't there, but Eric has to go to get back in time. So he is going to go and attempt to speak to the church registrar or the priest who's in charge of the church. Eric could have gotten a bonus on this, but Eric has already gone. And he is going to attempt to get access to the parish records to see if he can find any information about a child of the Backmark family. And I think what we're going to lean towards is if it is, then they lost their child, and maybe if there is a myling, that's what may have triggered the myling. He isn't able to get hold of him, so that the registrar is saying that he can't speak to him. And so this is manipulation, which is a 2. So we're going to make him get quite angry with this registrar, saying how important it is, i.e. I'm going to push the roll. We only need 1 success. How important it is to access these files. You can't say no. We're on a duty. We're trying to help the area. There's no way that we are going to just walk away. Oh, come on, Samuel. Excellent. 2 successes. The registrar is quite pushed, thrown by how angry Samuel instantly got at being refused access. And because we've got 2 successes, we'll push for 1. We'll give an extra thing that we'll say we'll have a +1 on the investigation roll, or an automatic. No, not an automatic success. That's too good. A +1 for Samuel's investigation roll to go through the books and to try and find in the records any information. Now the downside is because he got angry, the registrar isn't going to help, but gives him the right book, so Samuel doesn't have to go and hunt through all the books, but he's spending the morning doing this, and this afternoon he'll go and investigate the livestock. So he's now going to go through the books. He's going to slowly pore through the pages of the books around the years where a child would have been born, particularly looking at the pictures and trying to guess. So we'll do an investigation roll. We could say that he's got a magnifying glass, which gives a +1 investigation, but I don't, I was pushing it a bit. Maybe we can say that the handwriting is small and the magnifying glass assists him in being able to read the handwriting properly. I mean, that's pushing it a bit. And he's got a logic of 4. And so he's now going to hopefully get success as he's going to look through and try and find any information about the Backmark family and a child. Nothing. I don't know if I want to push that. So we haven't got any information there, which means we can't push that bit there. Maybe we will go and speak to the barman from the tavern and see if we can find out from him any information, which pushes the time on a bit, which means that we won't be able to push any rolls. So we can't push no pushing rolls this afternoon. So basically what we don't want to do, we don't want to, so I know the story, I want the story to go, I know the story, my DM hat knows the information, but I don't want to deny it from the player. So we need to fall forward. So though Samuel has failed, and because we already pushed 1 roll and he's got quite angry and flustered, that's possibly why he failed this, because he's not paying attention to the books because he got so angry with the registrar. And so instead he's going to give up on this attempt, and he's going to go and spend some time speaking to Ephraim at the tavern at the Deathly Jig. But that means that time is going to mean he doesn't have the time to push rolls this afternoon. So we are going to go and talk to Ephraim. We're going to attempt to get out of Ephraim any information that he might have about the Backmark family and whether they had a child or something happened. And 6, 1 hit, 2 hits. Okay, 2 successes. Excellent. So we need to, we chat to him for a while, so it takes a while talking to him because he's, I think if I remember rightly, he was a bit dim-witted, if I remember right. Yes, he's dim-witted. So he's a bit dim-witted and he was terrified, so he's still very nervous about what's going on. We don't give him any information, but we're trying to find out about the family. Let's roll some keywords and see what comes out keywords-wise. But I think we are, I know story-wise, it works if there was a child and something happened to the child. So let's roll keywords. So we've got first roll, atmosphere, 64. Strange. All right, maybe it was the myling that killed the child. 14. Child. No lie. 14, second one, child. 15, behind. Okay, I don't know how behind fits in, but we will say that Ephraim is going to say how their child was quite strange. Oh, let's use behind. Let's use the behind. She was found behind something. So if she was found behind something, maybe she, let's say, all right, I don't know what could be, which one of these might have something that might help. Let's do just a roll and we'll go through each one of them. 34, we've got innovation, tavern, get. Tavern doesn't help very much, innovation doesn't help very much, get doesn't help very much. 44, magic, people, move. No, don't like any of those. I want her to be found. She was found, because this then might help us with the myling, like solving the myling problem. If she was found behind something. Let's say there was an old well house. Okay, old well house. She was found behind the old well house, dead, and she would often be found there playing on her own, playing with an imaginary friend. Or let's roll, or we could roll one of the clues on the clue table. We can see if one of these clues might, if one of these clues lines up. I don't know if that, if her playing with it is a myling thing, but I quite like that. Story-wise, I quite like it. Strange, because there was maybe strange child behind. No, I like that. I like that. But anyway, let's roll on the clues table. 41. A pile of fist-sized rocks stacked on top of each other. They would playing with what? Piling rocks. I don't know if piling rocks actually suggests a myling, or I don't know if it suggests anything. But they would pile rocks and play with rocks behind the old well house, which is on the Backmark property, and she was found dead. And Samuel has discovered that they did have a child and she died. Now Samuel will go. Now he's not going to mention this. He will now travel. So it's taken by foot. So he's going to get there late in the afternoon, which basically means it's practically all that he's going to get done today. But he's going to go back and he's going to speak to Mr. Backmark, Farmer Backmark, and see if he can get him to allow him to investigate the animals in the area. Now, can he use anything? I mean, I would be willing, as if he decides to start mentioning the child, Mr. Backmark's child, that would give him plus dice, but that would ruin the relationship with him and Farmer Backmark. So first off, I think he's going to go and he's going to speak to. Well, let's see. Let's use the oracle, because we haven't leaned upon the oracle today. Let's use the oracle and see if we can find out. What can we find out using the oracle? We could find out. Maybe we will use it to find out if what Mr. what we've got, the direction of the mystery. I don't think we've needed this yet. When interacting with the time, how long? After making journal entry, when you do not know how to proceed in the mystery, use it it's time to use the Oracle, draw a card and check on the table below. Okay, well we kind of know what we're doing with the story. We're not sort of hit a dead end. I think we know where we're going. We just need to, not jump to any conclusions, but reveal this in a proper orderly fashion. So I think we've found out now that he is a myling, and now we just need to know how to get rid of a myling to help the area. So when we get back, let's see how Farmer Backmark is feeling. So we've got a 6 of diamonds is our highest. He's ready, and a 4 of hearts. He's calm. Okay, so he's ready for us to return, and he's calm. So he's going to help us, and for that, I'm going to give an extra dice because he's conducive to being spoken to. And so let's give those a final shuffle, just in case I forget to when I pick it up again. But normally I don't forget to. So we'll code to Farmer Backmark. We'll start speaking to him. Yes, sorry to disturb you again. I know we were only here yesterday, and I know it's late in the afternoon to ask such things. But would it be possible to look at some of the carcasses of the livestock that had been discovered to have been attacked by this being, this creature? And also, I was told that you had a sack that had been ripped apart and that was found by somebody. If it would be possible to look at that as well, that might help our investigations to narrow down what's causing these problems and to try and help stop these problems that you're having. Now, if we get a fail, we could also mention Mrs. Backmark's nightmares, and that we're trying to help with Mrs. Backmark's nightmares as well. So we've got 1 hit, so that's enough for a success. That he's going to go, oh, yes, I can take you through there, and I can give you some time if you want to look at the livestock. But because we've only got 1, he's not going to help, which means that we won't get a plus for that. But we do have some medical tools that hopefully Eric left with Samuel, which will give us a +2, I think. Give us a +2 on doing an investigation. And we've also got a book on dissecting animals, which will give us a +1. So we could get a +3 in total. So let me show you. So he takes us through to one of, maybe we'll have a look. Maybe let's also have a look at the wheelhouse. That might put him off, and we're not going to get any pluses there, and we might need to get 2 successes for him to allow us to go to the wheelhouse at the moment, because that's of course where his daughter was found dead. Again, I might have to put something about some warning thing at the beginning that some of us have children, and that can sometimes do that. Anyway, so Samuel will go into the barn, and he'll take a look at the sack that had been torn apart, and he'll take a look at the livestock, and he's trying to ascertain whether I should be taking -1 dice because he got angry earlier. He should trying to attain whether this is an animal that's done this, or it could be something else. We're leaning towards it's possibly a wolf. So we'll do it as a medicine. Medicine is precision, and precision is actually physical. Oh, that's all right. So he's got medicine of 1. We've got a +3 because we've got the medical equipment and a book. His precision is bad. It's 2. He's not very good at this stuff. So he is going to attempt to have a look, and then we'll do. So this is to do with the animal, and then we'll do an investigation for the sheep. No, it's nothing at all. We might say, because it's the end of the day and he is getting exhausted. Oh no, we said we couldn't push any rolls this afternoon. So he can't push. So he can't glean any information from the corpse as to what's killed it. Maybe it's been too many days, and so it's been moved too many times, and there's been too much damage that's done to it that he isn't skilled enough to find this out. But he is going to attempt to find out whether using an investigation roll, whether he can look at with his magnifying glass, and investigation is logic, which is a 4. But he's still affected by his heightened by being angry, so he'll drop 1. where he's going to look at the sack and see if he can find anything. And if he gets 1 hit, we'll know it's an animal. If he gets 2 hits, he finds a wolf claw. 3 hits. Okay, so Samuel is pretty sure that it's a wolf that attacked the sack. So we're pretty sure that a wolf attacked the sack and ripped the sack up. So we've possibly eliminated that. We need the hunter to come back and give us some proper information. Okay, so Samuel will thank Farmer Backmark and Samuel will return back to the tavern where they're staying, and he is then going to attempt to rest to get rid of the angry. So maybe he'll do some meditation, and I think that we do that. Let me double check. Okay, so we are going to do an activity in the evening to heal his conditions, which means that Samuel will spend time down socialising with the people at the bar, talking to a few of them. So we'll do a mixture of him having intellectual discussions, which he can, talking about the local area, and he's going to socialise and drink, which would involve, maybe there's some storytelling, or so basically it's like drinking alcohol, storytelling, singing and dancing, playing cards. He's going to basically do all of these things, like a smattering of these things, and attempt to cure his condition. And to do that, I think it just automatically does it. He doesn't have to roll for it. It's possible to heal your own conditions, engage in activities that promotes relaxation and rest. Okay, 2 conditions. So he will spend the evening and then go to bed, and that heals angry, and he ceases to feel angry anymore. During that day, Eric has ridden to Uppsala. Let's give him a something that we could do for riding to see if he goes fast. Let's give him an agility roll. He's going to roll agility. If he gets a hit, he will be back in the evening. If he doesn't get a hit, he comes back in the morning. So he doesn't get to be back for the morning. So Samuel will have to talk to the hunter. No. So he attempts to push the horse and cart and fails to be able to get that to go any faster. So he returns back and he's going to attempt to find out about a myling and how whether it could be a myling, and to further investigate based on the knowledge that he has whether it is a myling, and then he's going to find out whether he can get any information about the myling and what it could do. So I believe this is a learning roll. All right, so we are going to do a learning roll and see if we can narrow down that it is. So that's his learning. We have the library, and learning is based on logic, which is 3. So we have that for the library, and then he's going to look. Oh, we might give another one because he's got the library and he's got the book collection, which is at the library. So this is for him to work out if it could be the myling, and then we'll get some information about the myling. We don't know if it is a myling or not, so we can't work out if it's a myling. So maybe we will just no, I reckon we're going to have to push that. So we'll rely upon this is Eric. Eric gets angry at his own, which is going to affect him when he tries to get the information, his own stupidity. No, okay. Well, we can't push that a second time. So basically what this eventuates into is that although we're pretty much sure that it is a myling, Eric can't confirm that. So all Eric now is going to do is Eric is going to attempt to look up whether it is a myling or not, which means we lose 1 dice from that roll, and we need to get a hit for him to get any information. Otherwise, we will then have to go back tomorrow and ask Samuel to make a roll, and based on his memory, which is going to be even harder for him to do. Otherwise, we're going to know it's a myling, and we're going to have to try and find another way to get information how to get rid of a myling, because this is all we're relying on. So this is now he's going to go through the books and try and find out how you get rid of a myling. 6, 1 hit. Thank goodness for that. Okay, we will give Eric, some basic information about what to do to get rid of a myling. So, He can find out that a myling is the spirit of a child murdered by its mother, often because it was born out of wedlock or because there was no social safety net for the poor to care for their child. So, possibly sometime in the past, a child died, killed on the farm. Now, it could be the backmarks child, but based on we said the child was talking to someone, we're leaning towards the fact that it might not be the backmarks child. Now, spirit haunts the place where the body was hidden. So if it's hidden, so it might be hidden around or down the well. So a myling finds, all right, so we've worked out those two bits, so we would be able to identify and have a look down the well and see if there's there. Now, so we don't know the secret of how to get rid of the myling at this point, because no one's succeeded in that. There's a little box there which says secret, which if you want to know it, you'll have to buy the book, because we haven't discovered it for me to be able to tell you what it is. So we don't know that. So at the moment, our automatic thought would be find the body, bury the body properly in sanctified ground, and that should solve the problem. We don't know the secret, which neither do you know. So it says, so we do know, because I would automatically assume this would guess this anyway, so I'm happy to give this to them, that the spirit can also be put to rest by finding its body and burying it on consecrated ground. It says, and giving it someone else's name. So, I mean, that's a bit extra. So we need to find and bury body. That will help get rid of it. We don't know the secret. What secret? I'm not telling you. Okay. So Eric has discovered this information. Well, let's do a roll just to be and see if he knows about the name bit. And if he gets a success, he gets the name bit. But that's that. Otherwise, he doesn't know that bit, and we would not know to do that. No, we don't know name bit. We might be able to find out, but we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know that a child was murdered there. We wouldn't know that, would we? All right, so that we have that piece of information. Eric will go to bed, set off in the morning. We'll do a roll for his riding the cart back to see if he gets there in midday or early in the morning. Midday. So, oh, that one shouldn't be there. I didn't see a 6 anyway. So midday. So in the morning, did he do a? Oh, we'll give him. He'll pray at night before he goes to bed and to relieve his angry condition. Next day, Samuel will get up. Will be surprised that Eric hasn't returned yet. Doesn't know where Eric is. The hunter will have come back and is asking around for Eric, and Samuel will have to speak to him and say, sorry, Eric hasn't returned. Do you have any information about what you found? And so now the hunter is going to tell us what he has found. He's got information. So I will say that the hunter is going to confirm to us, because we've got that other piece of information. Well, let's see if the hunter will confirm for us. So we've got, we'll roll out, let's do our, I think a red diamond is what we want, to be honest. Red, 10, helpful. He gives us helpful information. So he says it's, there be a wolf. There's a wolf out in the mountains. I could see tracks coming down to the farm. They date back, and then he'll say a period of time when the livestock was killed. So the livestock clue is not a clue to this problem. So the problem clue we have at the moment is the myling. So Samuel doesn't have the information about, Samuel does have the information about the well though. Maybe Samuel, because Eric hasn't returned, maybe Samuel is going to leave a message with Ephraim to say, if Eric returns, tell him I've gone to the Backmark farm. Now, even with the whole body thing, we do know that she was found dead in the old well, and Samuel didn't have a chance to have a look at the old well to actually investigate it and see what he could find there. So let's have him go. He's going to go and talk to. He's going to go back to the farm. Let's see how the farmer is today. Queen's our highest. Queen of diamonds, he's feeling brave. All right. 8 of spades, but he's a bit annoyed. So he's feeling brave and able to face all this stuff, but he's a bit annoyed that he's come back. And so we will not have give him a +1 for being helpful. So we're now going to go 2 for manipulation, 4 for empathy. We're going to see if he's going to let us. We'll go and speak to him and say we would like to look at the well. We might find, and this, we might even get. So he's not getting a +1 for helping. We might. So if he, well, let's see how he does. He's going to go up to him and he's going to start. We're going to pay for, which is going to use one of his resources, dropping his resources down to 1, and I'm going to give him +2 dice because he's going to take like a basket of foods and some beer from the tavern across to the Backmark Farm to apologise that he's come to bother them again, but really he's trying to solve the problem they're having. He knows that maybe he'll take some medicine. Let's make him a quick medicine roll. He's not got much chance of this. And then 2, he has nothing to help him with this. If he can know what sort of stuff to take for headaches and sleep. 6, he got a hit. Okay, so he's gonna got some medicine to also take, which means that we're gonna give him that +2 for all the stuff that he's taking, 2 for manipulation, and he's got 4 dice for empathy. And he's got taken this big bot, and I've used up one of his resources. He only has 1 resource left for spending during this adventure, although Eric is still rolling in it with 11. So he's going to go and he's going to attempt to get access to the well and maybe some tools. Push it. If he gets 2 hits, he'll get some tools as well. What do we got? We've got 1 hit. Just 1 hit. Okay, so Farmer Backmark is going to say, well, I'm loath to let you do it, but thank you very much for this, sir. And my wife indeed has been getting lots of headaches and been unable to sleep properly. So this might help her, and I do appreciate that very much, but I'm afraid I can't lend you anything. We don't have anything I can lend you. I can't help you get down that well or anything like that. Oh, I just suggested that by accident. So I'm terribly sorry. So Eric will be, Samuel is going to be, all right, fair enough. Thank you very much, Farmer Backmark. That's very kind of you. And he's going to go and he's going to have a look around the well, and we will make him he doesn't have magic or anything like that, so he will use, I don't think it's observation. Maybe I'll do a mixture of inspiration or investigation, maybe both, and we'll see if we get any hits, where he's basically trying to see if he's using his sight and his other abilities, if there is something special about the well. So inspiration is an empathy-based thing with 2, and then 4. He has no additions to this. He won't be able to push this. It just is there a feeling about this? This is just his sort of sensing. Yes, he is sensing there's something about the well. There is something about the well which triggers his sight. Now, let me just quickly have a look at the myling again, because he does know about myling, so that's why I'm happy to do this. Okay, the creature can also take the form in the shape of a giant black bird with a human head. So, above the well house, as Samuel approaches the well house, he looks at the well house and then looks down at the ground because it's very uneven as he's walking, lots of tufts and things that would make him trip over. And then as he looks up, there's a giant black bird, and he can't quite make out the head, but we know it's a child's human head on the blackbird. It's perched atop the wheelhouse, and he sees it for a fleeting second, and then it's gone, almost as though it was as the clouds had passed over, a shadow had been cast across the top of the wheelhouse, and now looking at it, there's a kind of spike as the slates come up, and there's a bit of a spike or some form of thing on the top of the wheelhouse, and he's not too sure if he saw what he thinks he saw, or it's an imagination, if he imagined it because of the shadow. So let's give him, we'll give him a quick learning roll to see if he can remember something from that investigation. Yes, 1 hit. 2 hits. So he remembers that a myling can often form as a giant black bird, and this then is galvanised 100% that this is now a myling. He's pretty sure this is a myling. Now, can he remember how to get rid of a myling properly, i.e. the secret? We're not going to do that bit yet because we're going to wait for Eric to get back. So what he's now going to do is he's going to start to look around the base of the well. He's going to have a look and see if there's any evidence. Or maybe if he gets a hit from this, maybe he's going to hear screaming or crying, an echoing crying sound. Because one of the things that the myling does do is it cries and makes a crying sound. And so what he'll do is he's going to, so this is him doing an investigation. So we will give him his microscope. He's going to do the old Sherlock Holmes in. I mean, I'm rolling a lot for this stuff, but I guess you do, like, it's more, I have to roll this stuff more than I would do if I was DM. I'll just make decisions up because it's the players coming up with these ideas. But otherwise, I'm just writing a story if this works. So he's now looking for evidence. Now, what evidence are you going to find? That it could be the sound, isn't it? It's the sound. That's the evidence. If he finds it, that's the evidence is a sound. Okay, so we've got two hits. So he's looking around the base of the well on the outside. He's checking the wood. He's seeing if there's anything weird growing on the wood. Any other signs of anything else? Some strange manifestations. So there is the remains of the rocks, but they've been knocked down, so they've not been repiled up. But maybe. All right, because there's two hits, we're going to make it. Not only is there, at one point he hears a crying and sobbing down the well, and he's going to hear a crying and a sobbing from down the well. So that gives the trigger, and then the sobbing stops. Now I was going to do something in throwing stuff at him, like because the teasing bit, but I think we've pretty much, I think it's galvanised that the problem is something's down the well. Now, Samuel hasn't got the resources to go down the well, but he'll go in and he's going to have a look around the well. And so going into the well, so let's go back to the oracle. Is the well boarded up, or i.e. they're going to have to get tools, or can he look down the well? So red would be he can look down, black is boarded up. It's boarded up. So the top of the well has been sealed and it's been boarded up. He's going to have to get some tools, crowbar. Let's see if he can offer. So he's going to go back to Samuel, to Farmer Backmark, and he's going to use up his last resource to attempt to purchase, he's going to do a manipulation roll, some of the, what we've got, manipulation is empathy. He's going to attempt to purchase some rope and some tools, and if he fails, we'll have Eric turn up and Eric will attempt, and throw loads of resources at it. If he succeeds, he'll take the tools back to the wheelhouse, to the well house, as Eric turns up, so Eric can help with this. He succeeds. Farmer Backmark is okay. You can buy these off me, and I will replace them or get them back off you afterwards. And so he's got a crowbar, and in fact, because he got two hits, Farmer Backmark will help pry the top off the well. But then Farmer Backmark, if we got a black, he's going to get freaked out and not help anymore. Black. Okay, so he helps take the top off, and that's it. Sorry, sir. I don't want to be here anymore. Whatever you find, you deal with. And he will then go back to the house. The top's taken off. Maybe have we just got? Do we have electric torches? I mean, Cthulhu. We meant in the stories, H.P. Lovecraft stories, he mentions electric torches, but this is before then. Hurricane lamp, lantern. Of course, we'd have lanterns, or lantern. All right. He hasn't got any resources left. Let's see if we can get an ore lantern. No resources left. If there's an ore lantern to take down there, a hit. It just so happens there's one. Whoop. Yeah, that hit there. This was a one anyway. So there's a hit. So he has got a lantern. So Samuel is going to get a rope and attempt to tie it to the top of the well house, so the well part. Feed the rope down, light the lantern, and as he's about to go down, Eric will return and call out to Samuel, who'll come out. He's got, you know, his jacket's off, his tie's off, his shirt's rolled up, and Eric will say, "You look like you're working," and Samuel will say, "Oh yes, I'm." There's something about this well. He'll describe the bird. Eric will tell him about the information he's found out about if there might have been a child killed on the farm at some point, and to find the body, and then they can bury the body. Then let's make a, well, no, let's do the body finding first, and then we can have Samuel make a roll if he remembers the secret. Or even about the using the name. Otherwise, they will attempt to bury the body on consecrated ground and just leave it at that. And then we'll make a roll to see if that works, but probably it won't work. And we'll return back to the society, but the farm will still be having problems, but less so. So, first stop, we need to get down that well. Eric is going to help Samuel down the well because Samuel they're both as physical each other. In fact, Eric is better at precision, but they're both as physical each other. Samuel has close combat, but he doesn't have agility. So we'll have, Samuel has 3 for physical and no agility bonus, but he does have a rope and he does have Eric helping. So what we're going to do is we're going to make Eric make a physical roll, and any successes Eric has, he's going to give to Samuel. He gets 1 success. Okay, so Samuel is going to need to roll, and the more successes we get, the better. 1, we get down, but we might not be able to get back up again. 2 successes is good enough. Good enough for me, Jimmy. So, between Eric and Samuel, grunting and hefting and heaving, Samuel gets to the bottom of the well with his hurricane lantern, and Samuel is going to start to look around the bottom of the well, which is sort of ankle deep in water, knee deep in cold water, and he is going to start investigating around the bottom of the well and see if he can find anything. Now, he's got a hurricane lantern, and we will have him do investigation, and he's going to see if he can find something at the bottom of the well. We will push this if we have to. Okay, 2 hits. Samuel finds a deep, saddening scene at the bottom of the well. Whilst moving around with his hands gently, he finds something hard and smooth, and you know, we can visualize this as our person. One lantern is moving, is bent over, putting his hand in the water. Maybe then that's really difficult and he can't do it. So he's looped the rope to tie the lantern and hold the lantern at the top of the above his head as he's both hands, and the oil lantern behind his head is casting shadows on the water as his hand moves, and the shadows are moving and we can't quite see what's under the water, and then we can see, and then he finds something and you can see him going, ah, and then he lifts it. We can see his hands lift up the water as a small child's skull is lifted out of the water, and he takes a bit of a jump back, and the skull drops back into the water again, and then he shouts up, "I think I found something." And that's where we'll end that scene, because what we'll then have is they will go down, and so we'll take it as 2 hits that they recover the whole of whomever this person is, this child is. So what Eric has told Samuel is what he knows about the myling, and we're a small. Clearly, it's a child's body, so that's all we've seen about that scene, and then we'll have them. So we can just see on the back of the cart, very delicately covered over, and with, let's say it's with Samuel's coat is also covered over this pile on the back of the cart, and they're standing there and they're discussing it. Are they going to tell the Backmark family? Maybe we'll do that. Maybe they'll discuss it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. That's what the scene is. So the scene is Samuel is covering over the back of the thing, and then the back of the scene, we can see Eric is walking back from talking to the Backmark family at the farmhouse door, and Mrs. Backmark is sobbing, and Farmer Backmark is holding her to his chest and stroking her hair. That was Eric telling them what he's found. I'm going to do a manipulation roll, and we'll see if he did it well or he traumatized them. He was very delicate and very gentle in his way of telling them what they had discovered and what they had found, and he has said that they will presently now deal with the situation and they should no longer have any problems on the farm. He will also inform them about the wolf, and that he is going to employ the services of a hunter to make sure the wolf is dealt with in the area. But the knowledge of this small child is what has really affected Mrs. Backmark. And job done. He then will return to Samuel, and this is where Samuel and Eric will be discussing what they need to do next, which is, of course, they need to return to the consecrated ground of the church, and they are going to bury the remains, which would be our last scene. But we need to now see if between Eric and Samuel can remember any of the additional pieces of information, which we'll do as a learning role, which is not the best at, but maybe he'll go through notes that he has. So that's learning, that's notes. Learning is also logic, which is 4. And we could have that Eric is helping, so we might be very, very generous and throw in an extra 1. They can't push this. This is to see if they can make. Samuel can remember from his investigations of involving the myling anything that he found out during that period of time in the past. 1 hit, and they will remember the name bit. 2 hits, and I'll give them the secret. 1 hit. Okay, so 1 hit, and they've remembered the bit that somebody has to give up their name and give it to the child, and then the child will be able to. So maybe from the close, let's see. Let's make a investigation roll and see which is just 6, and see if they can work out. Yep. So it's a female child, so it was a young girl, and so somebody needs to give their name over. Let's make it because so maybe because that will help Mrs. Backmark. We will talk to Mrs. Backmark and see if she. I think Mrs. Backmark would just. I'm just going to say that she would happily give up her name, and she will take on a new name. So her name was 22, Emma. So her name was Emma. So we will bury the child under the name Emma, and she is going to say her mother was called Agatha, and so she will take on her mother's name of Agatha, as Eric and Samuel explain to them. This is how you need to deal with these things. This is the magic of this situation. And being the type of people they are completely on board with this. And so we will have Eric and Samuel return back to the churchyard, and they will speak. This will be Eric will speak to the priest and the registrar, and will attempt to. So we'll give them that. And we'll give him that because he's a priest, and we'll give him, so what is this? This is, manipulation is 4, to attempt to be allowed to bury in consecrated ground, but they could do it anyway. So it's just they're going to have to leg it afterwards. They are given the permission to conduct a ceremony, and in fact the priest of the church will get a stone made, so a headpiece in wood, made and in the consecrated ground area, so not in the unconsecrated ground area where certain people were buried. Read the Neil Gaiman book, The Graveyard Book. Instead, in the consecrated ground, the body of Emma is laid to rest, and the proper words are spoken, But unbeknownst to our heroes, Eric and Samuel, they haven't totally laid the body to rest, and we know that because as they leave the town, they leave the village, they get on their cart and move away, we see that giant blackbird that had we saw on top of the wheelhouse will sweep down and land on the headstone of Emma and begin to peck at the headstone, and the head of the giant bird will then meld into a small child who will begin to sob and cry, as we've now shifted the problem from the Backmark farm into the graveyard. And that's where we'll leave this adventure. So our two heroes will return back to the castle. We will, if we decide to come back to Vaesen, we will give them a chance to level up, and we'll do stuff with the castle, and we'll investigate the castle in our next series of adventures with Eric and Samuel, as they deal with the dark horror of the mystic Nordic past. There's going to be lots of cuts there because I was trying to think of words. Thank you very much for joining me during this adventure. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for your subscription. It is much appreciated. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. It helps us with the numbers and it helps us very much. I won't do my normal jovial stuff because that was quite a dark ending and was quite sad. And so I think I'll end it at that. And I hope you have a good week. I'll see you next time for more adventures and more stories. Goodbye.